Hey guys, my name is Christian. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope each one of you guys is doing amazing. As always, I'm excited to be here to talk with you guys. And I know it's been a while since I uploaded a video. Like I have no excuse. I just have nothing to tell y'all. I've been slacking and I know that. But now I'm back on the grind and I'll try to be a little bit more, aware and maybe give you guys just a little heads up. The next time I decide to, take a leave, and maybe, take some time off. But I'm gonna try my best to continue to provide content because I'm really trying to grow this YouTube channel, and I know consistency is key. So that's what I'm gonna try and work on moving forward. Let me not waste any time. Let's talk about today's topic. Today's topic is the right to dream. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this topic is because the older I get, and the more people that I see holding on to their dreams, regardless of age, sex, gender, whatever, the more people that I see still chasing their dreams, you know, the more, in a way, inspires me. It really does, because also seen a lot of people who give up in their dreams, who give up, chasing their dreams. And for me, it kind of breaks my heart because just think about when you were maybe in high school or kindergarten or even college, at some point, we all had a dream. At some point, we all had a dream. Some of us, had it in high school. Some of us still have it today, which is great. But at some point, we all had a dream. Some of us wanted to be doctors. Some of us perhaps wanted to be lawyers. Some of us wanted to be professional athletes. We all had that. And somewhere along the line, something happened, whether is maybe entering adulthood, right? Some of us enter it at a different time. Some people may enter adulthood when they're done with college and they have a stable job. Some people, enter adulthood right out of high school. Some people experience it in high school, like as far as having a baby and stuff like that. So along the way, something happens. Sometimes people experience trauma that they will never recover from. I understand life gets in the way. Like when you start having kids, you're married, you have the wifey and stuff like that. You have a lot more responsibilities than you did before. So I get it. Trust me, as a parent myself, a dad of two, I would tell you it is hard. It is hard to balance everything. It is hard to, take the kid to school, bring him back, make sure they have something to eat. Kids get sick. You also got to make sure you maintain your relationship. You got bills. You got kids practice, games, you know, friends. You have a lot to handle, to manage. I understand that. But in my case, I refuse to give up my dream. I refuse. You know, Even if it never happens to me, I never once like experienced my dream, and my dream never came to a realization, which I know that won't be the case because it's gonna happen. But I'm just saying is I won't be disappointed with the outcome of my life. That's the choice that I've made, you know, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you can achieve your dream, and sometimes no matter what you do, you may come up short. But for me, I refuse to give up on my dream. Because if I'm being honest, the only thing, apart from my kids, that keeps me going is having a dream. If I'm really being honest, like I'm in my 30s, I'm a dad, so I don't really have like a lot going on for me. So if it's not my kids, then I have to chase my dreams. Because what a dream does, at least for me, is it gives me purpose. Waking up every single day and knowing that you have something to go after, you have something to accomplish. You have something to work toward to. Even though you may not see the outcome today or the result today, but if you continue to, show up every single day, you continue to study whatever you're doing, just trying to master whatever you're doing, it, just chasing your dream, like that just gives you sparks. Like, and you can tell when you're talking to somebody who is passionate about what they do, you can see the spark in their eyes. You can see like just something in them come alive. Nothing beats passion, you know, and passion falls under dream. So you gotta chase your dream. I tell some people that because I know some people be like, dude, sometimes you just get too old to chase a dream. Nah, I disagree. 100%. You're never too old to chase a dream. The only time your dream expires, the only time your dream becomes invalid is when you're dead. So you gotta chase your dream, you know. And I see some people that are passionate about what they do. I've seen those people quit because maybe what they were doing was not bringing money to them, right? Maybe they're doing music, and after doing music for a few years, they're not really getting money out of music. They decide to maybe put that guitar down. They decide to maybe, stop writing songs or, stop composing or whatever. Some people are writers. After publishing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books, they're not seeing the results, and they just decide to, put it on the side. And I feel like if you were starting to chase something and you don't follow it all the way through, in a way, it's like you're giving up on yourself. You're quitting on yourself, because a true dream, a true passion, is something that you would do it lifelong. It's lifelong. If you make music, even if you're not successful, just the passion of making music every single day will keep you doing it till the day you die. I'd rather be that 70-year-old, grandpa somewhere in the basement composing music or talking in front of the camera or doing whatever that makes me happy, and maybe not be the richest guy in the world, maybe just be an average Joe able to pay his bills. But as long as I'm doing that, I'll be happy. We all have different dreams. Some of us have a dream into, you know, certain fields that we never really like experienced before, or into certain job sectors, or certain industry that we never really experienced before, or have no type of I don't know, connection. But perhaps maybe those things are the things that are making us afraid to maybe try or chase it. But what I want to tell you is everything is learnable. Nobody was born knowing everything. The longer you do something, the better you will get. And when you're doing something, don't think something's going to happen, or all the good things or the blessing will happen to you, you know, in your time, at your time. Nah, it may not happen to you in your 30s. Your music may not be good in your 40s. Maybe it may happen for you in your 50s. Just like your music career may take off in your 20s. Like, there's no, time scale for measuring success or chasing your dreams. You just got to keep going because you naturally have the passion for it. There's something, I have to talk to parents about this, because there is something powerful in your kids seeing you chasing your dreams, in your kids seeing you at least trying to accomplish your goals. That speaks volumes. We've all heard that saying, what monkey see is what monkey do. That's very true. So just imagine if your kid is seeing you every single day, getting up early because mommy or daddy is very motivated to, to go to the gym, just to make sure that, that he or she stays healthy. and mommy and daddy does that every single day, maybe take 2 days off or 3 days off. Just imagine inviting your kids to your function, to your field where, you feel at home, where, you're passionate about something and they get to experience that firsthand. That speaks volumes. I've talked about this before. Like, I've got my associate degree simply because of what I saw my dad go through. And I know an associate degree is not a bachelor, it's not a master, it's not a PhD. Like, I know a lot of people out there accomplish way more. But for me, I was never really interested in school, but I knew in order for me to be able to get my associate degree, I had to really lock in because I saw this sacrifice my dad did, when he was going through college. And my dad has way higher degrees than an associate degree. I saw the late night when he was staying up studying. I saw how he did his homework, all those things. Like, I even was there when he graduated, and that spoke volume to me. And I still take that same mentality till this day. Now I just apply it into things that you know that I'm passionate about. So you gotta chase your dream. And the other thing I want to add is that when you're chasing your dream, like, you're gonna have to make a sacrifice. Yes, you're gonna have to make a sacrifice because nothing is free. You're gonna have to sacrifice something. And I'm not talking about like Illuminati. I know some of you guys will believe in that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not naive. I do believe, there are clubs out there of the elites who, will get to control the world, but I also do believe that some people achieve success simply because, they work hard and, they made the right decision. They chased their dreams. They were willing to sacrifice. And when I'm saying sacrifice, I'm not talking about like, not some weird stuff. Like, you may have to sacrifice your friendship. Meaning, if you have bad friends, friends that don't support you, friends that are negative, friends that always want to crash out, you may have to sacrifice that friendship and not be friends with them. That's a sacrifice. Some of us, are madly in love. Let's be honest. But if we're also being honest, some of us are in relationships that don't serve us. You're going to have to sacrifice, man. Your dream is more important after your kids. Yes. If you have to sacrifice that relationship, then so be it. Because when your dream is so, vibrant and it's something that keeps you up at night and you can't go a day without thinking about it, you gotta learn to understand that you're going to lose the people that you love. In a way, that's a sacrifice. I'm not saying you have to unalive them or sacrifice some weird stuff. But what I'm just saying is you're gonna have to sacrifice something. You're gonna have to sacrifice your lifestyle. Maybe the way you're living right now is not the best for where you're trying to go. You're gonna have to sacrifice, your habits on how you spend your money. You're gonna have to sacrifice, your intelligence. So basically what I'm saying is when you're chasing your dream, it's basically you trying to reach your highest, self. It's spiritual. A lot of people have these bad raps about rich folks. Not all rich folks are bad, but you gotta also appreciate the journey of them getting there, especially if they did it the right way, especially if they did it in a way that's ethical and morally correct. That's fine, but you gotta appreciate their journey because the amount of discipline, the amount of resistance, like, people want to tell you no, even your own best friends, even your own people that you thought were going to support you, they won't. And as a business person, you just have to take that and keep going. Because we all know nobody wants to come to the party early. They all want to come when things are popping. So it's just something that you're going to have to accept. You're going to have tough skin. And I think when you're chasing your dream, you're going to go through all that process. And it's a beautiful process. Yes, there are a lot of, You know, there's going to be a little bumps in the road, heartbreaks, disappointment, rejection, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. Because a wise man once said, a person without a dream is like a boat stuck in the middle of an ocean without a sail. You know, so I don't know how people can just give up on their dreams. You know, I don't care if you're a father of two, father of three, father of four, you're still a human being. You know, we need to start paying more attention to individuality. You can still be a great dad while chasing your dream. So stop. Some of us are using that as an excuse. Some of us are using, oh man, I gotta take care of my family as an excuse. You know I'm a good dad. I'm always gonna be there for my kids, and my kids are my priority. But I also know I'm a human being and I have my needs and I wanna chase my dreams because this life is way too short. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna leave you guys with this. You're gonna have to be selfish a little bit. When it comes to your dream, you're gonna have to be selfish. You're gonna have to cut off a lot of people. You know, you may even lose your relationship because some people are not gonna understand where you're trying to go. You know, you might make enemies along the way, but at the end of the day, like I said, life is too short. We're not here on earth to be working 40 hours a week. You know, having someone determines how we live life. Having someone determines what time we clock in, what time we clock out for lunch, what time we clock back in for lunch, or what time we clock out. That's not the life. You know, and I've had some people that would tell me, Christian, like, if you're a doctor, you're making, 300,000 a year or 400,000 a year, or even a mil, a half a mil a year, you wouldn't be complaining. I told him no, I wouldn't be complaining, but I also know myself. I just know the fact that somebody get to control my time, the fact that somebody, get to tell me when I have to be, it will not sit right with me. And I'm not anti-job. I'm a big advocate of people working because you don't want to be out there trying to be an entrepreneur while your family is struggling. I'm not saying that. Have your job, but you always got to have a plan, to try to get out of this rat race, you know, and that comes by chasing your dreams. You got to chase your dreams, especially nowadays. Every dream is profitable. You got to understand that. You just got to know how to go about, making money. Even talking in front of the camera. If you have a successful podcast, there's so many ways you can monetize and make money out of that. I have a friend who lives in Houston. She played soccer in college with me, obviously on the girls' team, but she's doing amazing and she's an artist. She likes to paint and she has a huge following, very successful in Houston, have a bunch of art shows. So you gotta chase your dream, man. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Once again, if you're new to the channel, welcome. And don't forget to subscribe. See you guys. Bye.